Jackson, you just laying in the grass? It's hot as hell out here, bud. I'm continuing today, guys, with the Nissan Titan Overlander project. Recently picked up this ARE Ascend roof basket for the Titan, and I'm going to start getting it outfitted with some lighting before we mount it on the top of the truck. We have a 50-inch light bar coming for the front of the basket. We have a smaller light bar coming for the rear of the basket, and I want to do some lighting on the side, and that's what we're working on today. I want to be able to see this truck from outer space, so the more lighting, the better. So what I have here is a couple of Black Series flush mount rough country lights. These are 2-inch, and these will fit perfectly in the side of the roof basket. So in this instance, I'm gonna have to cut this mesh out here, but these will slide in and fit perfectly flush with the outside of the basket, so that'll look really nice. Now, I know I said I wanted to be able to see this truck from outer space because of all the lighting, but the reality is that I want this roof basket to stay functional and practical for us, and I don't want it to be all cluttered with, you know, light bodies and wiring and things like that. So I'm probably just gonna do one flush mount light on each side of the basket. Clearly there's a ton of space in which we can mount lights, so I can always add as we go on, but I think a light bar in the front, a light bar in the rear, and then a flush mount light on each side of the basket is going to give us plenty of lighting, because these actually light up the night quite well, and I think there'll be plenty for what we need it for. These 2-inch rough country lights actually flood the light quite well, so it'll shoot the light up and down as well as out, so I think we'll be fine with lighting near the truck. The only thing I could see eventually is getting a couple of additional lights that maybe tilt down like this, so we can turn them on if we need to change a tire or see something around the truck. God, what are they doing in this neighborhood? Jeez. Perfect timing to wrap up. It's starting to rain. First impressions are that they look really good. Rough Country always has nice looking products. We already have the 2-inch pods on the front of the truck, so we know how bright they are. We know their quality. Installation of these was quite easy actually, but obviously that's going to depend on what you're mounting them to. One thing I found kind of weird is that they don't come with washers, and I think washers are essential to make sure that these stay secure, especially because the provided nuts are just barely bigger than the bolt themselves, so they could potentially pull out if you really wrench them down. They shouldn't, obviously. They're not going to be exposed to that much pressure unless you really bang something into the back side of them, but still, a washer is always a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't have any that small in my stash right now, but I'm going to definitely pick some up. I do like how easy Rough Country makes the wiring with these quick connects, and they do give you plenty of wire. There's several feet here, but we do have a long run to make. These are on the front of the basket, so the wiring is going to be right here. If you've been following along, I possibly am going to drill a hole down into the topper so it can go down in, and I'll find a route to run it down along the underside of the truck and up into the the little power box under the hood. That of course will allow me to continue using this panel, and side lights is what I'm gonna use for that one. So this switch will be for the light bar on the front of the roof rack. This will be for the light bar in the rear. Side lights, as I mentioned already, this is for the white lights in the front of the truck, the cube lights, and then this turns on the amber. And these two are reserved for whatever lighting we may have come up, and obviously rock lights right there. So pretty nice panel, plenty of lighting. We may switch some things up eventually, but I think for now this is perfect. I'm pretty excited. The 50-inch light bar from Rough Country showed up earlier than expected, so we're gonna go ahead and get this installed too. I just went with the single row light bar because I did want to keep it as sleek and as low profile as possible. I think this will be perfect. I bought a couple of additional brackets as well, which will allow me to mount it to the top of this roof rack, which would lift it to about this height. Now, that might be kind of cool, but my original plan was to have it mounted sort of in this area. So just kind of trying to figure out what my preference would be. I think no matter what though, I'm going to use these brackets rather than the ones that came with the light bar itself. These are just more substantial and they'll be a little bit more secure to the roof rack itself. These are for a Jeep Wrangler actually, for hood mounts, so these are going to end up working out perfect. I just mocked it up here and I think I got my answer. That's just a little too high. Now we need to make sure it's centered. Put up. Yeah, maybe a little back. I'm gonna try to line up the line with the body. Just a touch. Okay. Yeah, that might be. Don't fall. It is a bit of a nightmare to reach in here and get these tightened down, but it is possible. There it is. Gosh, it looks beefy. It is a little bit of a pain to install, mostly because of having to tighten the nuts down, and there's just not a lot of room to get your fingers in there. The 50-inch Black Series Rough Country light bar looks really sick up there. Got a couple of flush mount lights in the basket as well, which will be nice. It's starting to rain now, so I'm not going to finish the wiring, but I'm excited to get these lights all working and run some wires through the topper. We got the big monthly Cars and Coffee tomorrow, so I just want to make sure to get the basket installed so we can head over there and show it off a little bit. Got some more accessories coming for this thing as well, so we can haul water and gas on top. Super happy with how it turned out, and for 350 bucks, it was a hell of a find, so I really can't complain at all. But up next is going to be organizing the wiring and running it the best way possible, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it just yet, whether I risk it and drill a hole in the topper, or I figure out a different route to hide the wires and run it to the switch panel, but we got to get it functioning and working properly. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have experience with this at all, or if you have any suggestions on how I should run the wires. I'd appreciate any input or feedback that you might have. Until then though, that's it for now. Appreciate you watching this video. More stuff coming for the Titan, more stuff coming for the next adventure channel in general. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so I hope you guys will stick around, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate it again. See you in the next one.